Southern Africa correspondent George Alagaya reports from the ANC Party Congress in Mafeking.
The election to the presidency of the ANC may be a foregone conclusion, but Thabo Mbeki, the heir apparent, is taking nothing for granted. He's not a natural, lacking the avuncular charm that Nelson Mandela exudes. But for weeks now, Mr. Mbeki has been touring the country, making friends and influencing people. There's a discernible shift in the party's attentions. The fixation with reconciliation between black and white is going. Now the focus is on those millions who voted for the ANC in search of the fruits of freedom. Josephine now has electricity for the first time, but she wants more, as if she's voicing the unfulfilled aspirations of a nation.
I'm happy to have electricity. I've got a radio and an ironing board, but I need a hot plate to cook on and an iron.
So the challenge facing Thabo Mbeki is to move the country into what people here call the second phase of liberation. Nelson Mandela has reconciled South Africa with its past. Mr. Mbeki has to show that liberation can make a tangible difference to people's lives.
There should not be generated an expectation that South Africa, because it's a peculiar country, is going to produce a spectacular result of equality over 5 years. No, it won't happen. But what will certainly happen is that there will be movement towards an elimination of this racial disparity.
In the years of exile, his was the acceptable face of a movement that many associated with revolutionary change. Mr. Mbeki was on hand when a group of white South Africans met the ANC in exile. He's the consummate backroom politician, steadily plotting his rise to the highest office in the party and eventually the country.
How do you feel now on the eve of conference, apparently about to follow in the footsteps of such great men as Luthuli, Tambo, who you worked with closely, Mandela?
If a conference decides, this is the president and whoever, every one of us, of those people would, you know, it's...
But we both know you're going to be the president of the ANC.
We've been deployed variously in the ANC for many years, in all sorts of capacities. And it's a task that you get given.
Mr. Mbeki's coyness about his new role belies the fact that he has, for some time now, been in charge of the day-to-day running of the country. That task has been made easier with Mandela's moral authority and unifying presence to fall back on. Now he has to show that he can fly solo. George Alagaya, BBC News, Mafeking.
2 people have been killed and more than 20